This channel, Million Dollars Made Easy, we love to run numbers for people. I recently saw this question in a financial article. It was entitled, How long will $1 million last in retirement? Now, we need to have some more information in order to answer that question. First of all, what are your monthly expenses expected to be? Let's say you expect to need $5,000 a month. What would be the next one we would need to answer? Again, we're starting with $1 million here. I'm going to type in $1 million for a beginning balance. Also, when will you start taking Social Security? How far away? Let's say you're 5 years away from when you want to start taking Social Security, and say you just get $2,000 a month. All these things are important to understand. Also, we want to know on this channel we use the S&P 500 returns, but you wouldn't leave it all in the S&P 500 because then when the market's going down, you'd be selling low. So we're going to go ahead and do a 70-30 split. But that's another thing we need to know is what kind of split. We got 70% staying in the S&P 500 in this scenario, and 30% going into a cash reserve account, some kind of a liquid account. And we're going to say it's going to pay 3%. So we need to know your monthly expenses, when you're going to start Social Security, and what the break is, what your asset break is. Also, we want to give yourself a 3% COLA. We could run it at 2% or whatever you want, but let's run it at 3%. Now we're going to go ahead and run the numbers. This is going to give us some kind of a breakdown using the data for the last 100 years for the S&P 500. Just to see where you might be, how often you might run into trouble. Let's go ahead and update this. This is doing it for every year from 1924 on with this scenario: $1 million, $5,000 a month, Social Security kicking in the fifth year, 70-30 split. And as you can see, 97% of the time, you would have no problem in the last 100 years. The only time is 1929 and 1930, which the graph shows you right. Every other time, you're going to be fine. This is the $2 million and $4 million lines, by the way. So you're going to have no problem. Now, if you say you need $6,000 a month, still with the same scenario, the fifth year taking Social Security of $2,000. In other words, it's going down here $6,000, increasing by 3%. In the fifth year, the $2,000 kicks in, and you only need $45.56 from your nest egg. Let's go and update that. How many times would you run out of money needing $6,000 a month? That's the key question. What are your monthly expenses expected to be? That's how we need to know. That's what we need to know in order to answer this question. How long will $1 million last in retirement? Most cases, 9% of the time you'd run out of money, but 91% of the time you would not. Most cases you'd be just fine. You can see that after 20 years of withdrawing $6,000 a month, $2,000 a month kicking in from Social Security in the fifth year, these are the kind of numbers we're looking at. Looking down through here, millions of dollars. But there's 4 times during the Depression years, and there's also a few times around the year 2000 that you'd run out of money. But that's the kind of questions we can answer. But in order to answer this question, as stated in this article, we need to know those pieces of information. What are your monthly expenses expected to be? When are you going to start taking Social Security? How far away? You're taking that immediately, then that 2000 would kick in. You could probably take out more. Let's go ahead and do one taken in the very first year. So you're starting with 4,000 and increasing that by 3% a year. Then what difference might that make? Taking Social Security immediately. 9% of the time you'd run out of money. With the other scenario, and only 4%. Again, 1929, 1930, and also the year 2000 was problematic. But every other scenario is fine. But those are the questions you really need to answer. Not just your beginning balance or you're starting with, but what are your monthly expenses going to be? That's why we need to know this information to run the numbers. But that's what we do in this channel. We run numbers for people. Please consider subscribing to this channel. Let people know about this channel, that there's a channel out there that will run numbers for them to give them some idea what the future might look like. Please share this channel, like the video, and thanks for watching.